Hello and welcome back to another Ratchet and Clank video. You know, as I've been making these videos, the major consensus that I've found is that a lot of people think Ratchet and Clank 2002 is the hardest game in the series. But what makes it so hard? Why exactly does everyone feel this way? So I decided I'm going to take a look into it. So let's take a look at what I consider to be the hardest levels in Ratchet and Clank 2002. Let's just take this in order, starting with something I was actually surprised by when making my review. Planetrilgar. A pretty simple planet, to be honest. Its main path that's filled with enemies isn't that bad. It's pretty standard and an enjoyable experience. But its other path that I rightfully named the Water Pits of Doom is just so obnoxious. It's crazy. It seems like from my comments on my review, I'm not the only person to think that this segment was just overly brutal. I mean, yes, on my playthrough of this part for my review, it only took me 2 tries to beat, but I've also played this segment hundreds of times at this point, and I still feel like after nailing all the jumps pretty perfectly that I just barely made it out of the water before drowning. It's no wonder younger me and so many other gamers out there had so much trouble with this. The amount of perfection that is required from this segment is just crazy high. One missed jump, one enemy in your way, or just not being aware of dashing forward as Clank being an option. All of those things can really make this run a million times more difficult than it has to be. And I still stand by my stance that I think that this path should have led to just the hoverboard races and the Zoomerator, while the main path with just enemies should have led to Qwark's trailer. That would have made it much easier for people to make it through this segment and allowed them to actually play more of the game, and if they wanted to get the Zoomerator later, they would have the option to return with the O2 mask, allowing for a much easier trip through this area. Speaking of the O2 mask, let's talk about Poketarou. This beautiful paradise island is also a home to some of my least favorite segments in the game. I mean, everyone just loves escort missions, don't they? To be fair, the escort part of this mission isn't really that bad. There's no way for the tour guide to die or get in your way, so he's pretty much a non-issue that follows you around, but these boat rides, oh boy. These boat rides. Being stuck on a tiny boat with swarms of fish flying at you constantly while trying to make it from point A to point B can become very frustrating very fast. This segment is so easy to die on, especially when you only have 4 nanotech to rely on at this point in the game. Just a few slip-ups or standing in the wrong spot can lead to getting hit out of nowhere, and the next thing you know, you're falling over dead. But I mean, no big deal, we just restart, right? We're restarting from the beginning, all the way back at the beginning. Here's the big issue. The checkpoints on Poketarou are so far apart, especially for a level that consistently has you sitting and waiting on basically a rail shooter, that it just becomes more and more frustrating every time you die. Fall over, die, wait on a hoverboat, kill things, wait on another hoverboat, kill a few more things, die again from something stupid, respawn back at the very beginning of the level, rinse and repeat. Over and over, waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and wait. It's horrible. It's frustrating. I mean, I was informed by some friendly people in the comments that the suck cannon makes this segment a breeze, but I've never tried going about it that route, so I'll just have to try it out next time. But for now, I still stand by this segment being badly designed, overly frustrating, and just downright annoying to play. One level though that's not badly designed, overly frustrating, or annoying is Planet Ultanus, which I have to say is probably the first level in the game that's actually difficult, and not for some crazy dumb reason like random enemies, bad checkpoint systems, or bad platforming. It's just well designed and has some fantastic enemy placement. Ultanus is the first level where we start seeing a nice variety of enemies that can fly, shoot long ranges, and also melee, and it adds a lot to the challenge of the game, especially when all of these enemies get mixed in with some pretty well done platforming segments. I really enjoyed Ultanus. Yes, I did get frustrated a few times while playing through it, but never as overly aggravated as I got while playing some of the other segments in this game. I may even say Ultanus may be one of the best levels in the game when it comes to enemy placement and difficulty. Now, moving to the complete opposite side of the spectrum, we have Drek's fleet. Remember when I said it was annoying that you had to sit and wait on boats in Poketarou, and that sucked? Well, imagine now you have to sit and wait not once, not twice, not 3 times like Poketarou, but 6 times. Maybe even more. This segment here, where you need to disguise yourself as a robot and take out all the other robots so you don't get destroyed by random orbs of death, takes so long to get through, and a death at any point during this segment sends you all the way back to the start of it. When I did this, I had purchased Premium Nanotech, which gives you 3 extra hits over someone who had purchased Ultra Nanotech, which is what you would most likely have at this point in the game. And I just have to say, I'm amazed how hard this was, even being able to take 8 hits. There was so many times I just made by with 1 hit left, and I know this would have taken me so much longer with only 5 hit points, never mind someone else who would only go through this with 4. The final level we're going to be talking about is, well, the final level, Planet Velden. This is another one of those levels where enemy placement is pretty spot on, and I mean, it's the final level, so it's supposed to be hard. When I was a kid, the only way I could beat this level and get to the final boss was cheesing it by staying really far away and killing every enemy using the Visibomb. The enemies in this level are tough, deal a ton of damage, can fly, making a bunch of your weapons useless, and have a huge amount of range, making it hard to get close enough to damage them without, getting hit. I was able to get through the level this time around with only having to use the Visibomb a few times, and I felt pretty accomplished, but I also still felt a bit cheap since I had the Premium Nanotech. Again, something that would be hard to obtain on your first playthrough of the game. I would love to know what Ratchet and Clank levels you found difficult while you were playing the game as a kid, or even the levels you still find difficult today. So, go on down in the comments below and post whatever levels you think are really hard, or you just don't like how they're designed. And while you're down there, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Lots of more Ratchet and Clank content to come. It looks like Going Commando will most likely be out next week, so get excited for that one. And until then, I'll see you all in the next episode. Just a quick thank you to my YouTube and Patreon supporters. You guys are so generous, and I thank you a million times over. If anyone else would like to help support the channel and the content I create, feel free to check the description below for links to my Patreon.